Hi, I hope you're all having a great day. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome for the first time. Today I am going to be sharing a video with you about luxury handbag mistakes that I have made in hopes that perhaps it will save you from making some of the same ones. It's all a learning experience, and I feel like I have changed a lot of how I buy, how I look at luxury, and so I'm going to share some of the mistakes that I have made in the past, and certainly not perfect, but I hope not to make them again. So let's get started. I do have notes on my phone so that I don't forget, and I keep getting texts in the middle, and so it might mess me up. So number one for me, the worst thing I have ever done is impulse buying, not taking my time and really thinking about a purchase. And if I can find the picture, I will insert the picture of the bag somewhere. It's always different. It just depends on how I can figure it out that day. But for me, it was the Louis Vuitton Caissa. And I bought that, it only came in the Damier Ben check, but there was a red and then there was a rose ballerine. I purchased the rose ballerine. I still to this day think it's a beautiful bag. It absolutely does not work for my lifestyle. It was not comfortable on my shoulder. The way it stuck out underneath my arm, it just was not cute on me. It did not work for me. And I remember seeing it on vacation and looking at it and deciding very quickly to purchase it without doing a lot of research, without really trying my things in the bag and walking around with it and just making sure that, that it was going to work for me. And so impulse buying. I do a lot better when I do a lot of research, watch a ton of YouTube videos, which there really weren't on that bag because it was a new release. So that was number one. And then number two is staying true to your style and to know what works for you. And so for me, again, that like the Caissa was a brand new release, I have learned I don't really like the latest it bags. I get bored of them, and for me, classics work better. For you, you may hate classics. For you, it may be the latest it bag. So, learning what your style is, staying true to yourself, and just because something's gorgeous, I really do think of it now and like, in a year, am I going to be absolutely tired of this? And then you also have to think, if you're buying something that you're not sure that you're going to love in a year, are you going to be able to resell it? I don't buy bags necessarily thinking, can I sell this later down the road? But going through making a lot of mistake purchases, I have sold several bags, and you do lose quite a bit of money. Very rarely do you break even, and even rarer do you make a profit. Bags are not an investment. I have said this so many times. I see so many YouTubers saying that they are an investment, they're investment pieces. They're not. Investment pieces are real estate and stocks and things like that, not bags. In my opinion, bags are a depreciating asset that you're lucky to, maybe not lose that much and get to enjoy the bag for a while. So that is number two. So number three is being afraid to use your bags. There's only two bags that I kind of regret selling. I try not to regret. I try to look at it as, you learned from this, don't do it again. They were both from Dior. They were lambskin Miss Dior Promenade Pochettes, lambskin inside, outside. These bags, in my opinion, blow the Chanel wallet on the chain away. They no longer make them. I had two in my favorite colors. One was this royal blue, one was a hot pink. Took huge loss selling them, just because I was afraid to wear them and because I decided I didn't really wear color. I wish I would have kept them, and even if I wore them once a year, just to have a little bit of color, and I wish I wasn't scared of the lambskin. So I have some little eye candy for you on how I have learned my lesson there. My first lambskin bag that I have, and I am not afraid to use it. It already has some marks on it. I actually just did a video on this, and I will link that somewhere in here if you want to see that. but I'm not afraid of lambskin anymore. I feel like the little kid in Home Alone. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm gonna use my lambskin bags. But yes, don't be afraid to use your purchases. I mean, obviously you don't want to abuse them, but don't be afraid to use them. My other example, I would have never purchased something this light years ago. This bag will be a year old at the end of this month, and it is still one of my favorites ever. I love this color. I'm very, very careful with it, which is fine, but I actually use it. I use it a lot. I'm just very cautious not to put it against denim or anything that I think could get color transfer on it. So use your bags. If you bought them and you love them, don't be afraid of them, because that's really my only regret in anything that I've sold. It was just because I wasn't using them. So number 4 brings me to not returning a bag that you're unsure of. And so my example with this is from last spring, the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis. It is still one of the most popular YouTube, Instagram bags out there. It was impossible to see it in person, and you know, in general, it's very hard to see that one and try it on. So I bought it sight unseen. I watched a lot of videos, and when I got it and I tried it on, I just did not like how it looked on my frame. I think it's so cute on Instagram pictures. I see so many people just wearing that bag, and it is so pretty on them. It was not pretty on me. I just felt like I was wearing my school lunchbox. It wasn't me. I was going to send it back. It was a very, very stressful time in my life. It was about 2 weeks before we were leaving the apartment and moving into the house, and we had just moved. So it was 3 moves, or 2 moves, just like back to back, and just a lot of stress. I kept it past the 14 days, and there was nothing I wanted to exchange it for, so I ended up keeping it, and I did end up selling that bag. My example for that one, buying something that you haven't tried on is not necessarily a bad thing, but if it doesn't work for you, send it back. I did buy this one, and it is quite heavy. I'm using this one today. I bought this one without ever trying it on, and it is the Speedy Bee 25, and I actually have 2 of these now. One of my most favorite bags. But if something doesn't work, don't be afraid to send it back. I mean, don't be by any means, you know, abusing the system, but it's okay to send something back. I very, very, very rarely return anything. I have returned 3 Chanel pieces in my life, all because they were defective. And maybe 2 or 3 Louis Vuittons top, not very much. I don't like to return things, absolutely do not like to, but that should have gone back. It just shouldn't have, you know. I was lucky because it was a popular piece, and the lady I sold it to was very happy with it, so it worked out, but I shouldn't have kept it. And then my last one is buying just to buy. That's number 5. And I am guilty of that. Not so much anymore. I'm doing a lot better with that. I really am thinking things through. But last year, a really good example, my birthday haul. I bought a ton of Louis Vuitton bandeaus, and then I discovered I don't use bandeaus. I just don't tie them on. I like Hermes Twillies a lot better, and even then I don't use them that often. I don't see me ever adding another Twilly. I have 4 Twillies and 1 bandeau. I sold all the rest of the Louis Vuitton bandeaus, but it was like, you know, getting some fresh color, and I thought, oh, they're so cute. I'm gonna definitely, you know, dress up my bags. And I learned that I didn't. Again, something I should have thought through. And because they have such a reasonable price point, it was just, you know, it was really fun to get some of the newer things in from Louis Vuitton. And it just did not work out for me. So when I feel like I need to buy something, I sit and think about why. In general, when I buy a bag, I like to be filling a need. And, you know, like I do this and I don't have something to carry for that. Well, I never thought of that with like things like small leather goods and bandeaus and stuff like that. It just, I don't know, just randomly was buying. I've sold a ton of my small leather goods this year, And I've sold, like I said, all of the bandeaus except for one. And I do not see me adding any more. Maybe a small leather good. No promises on the small leather good, but no more bandeaus. But I think that is it. My phone keeps closing on me, so I'm trying to make sure I have read them all through here. Okay, so I just double checked. Yes, that was all 5. But hopefully maybe that can help you if you're just starting out your collection. I know that I've watched a lot of these types of videos, and they still help me to sit there and say, okay, why are you buying this particular item? And do you need it? Will you use it? And as I've said many times, I am not a collector. I do call my bags my collection, and nothing against collectors. I follow a lot of collectors on Instagram, and I love seeing like the pieces throughout the year. It's so cool, but that's just not my style. I collect jewelry, not bags, and they need to be used, and they need to be loved and rotated, and they need to be practical for me. So it's a learning journey. I'm still getting there myself, but I hope that this was somewhat helpful, and I thank you so much for watching another video. I hope to talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.